Welcome back to the podcast. It is finally Friday, and dude, we have a crazy lineup of AI news to wrap up the week. I am Taylor, and I am seriously hyped for today's stories.
And I am Morgan. We really do have a packed show today. We are looking at massive architectural updates from Apple, real-time models from Google, open source breakthroughs from Mistral, and a rather bizarre pivot from OpenAI.
Oh, I am so ready. The sheer volume of news this week has been insane, but these four stories really stood out to me as the absolute most impactful.
Right, so let us stop wasting time and dive right in. What is this first story you found on the decoder about Apple and Google?
Okay, so this is huge. Apparently, Apple is getting full access to Google's Gemini models, and they are using it to build their own lightweight on-device AI for Siri.
Wait, so Apple is using Google's massive model to train its smaller models? That is classic knowledge distillation. But isn't that highly controversial in the AI space?
Exactly. It is like paying for the answers to the test. The decoder pointed out this is exactly what Chinese AI companies allegedly do in secret, but Apple is just openly paying for it.
It is fascinating, though. Apple pays Google for the heavy lifting, distills the intelligence down, and runs it locally on your iPhone for maximum privacy.
Dude, it is so smart. You get the brainpower of Gemini, but it runs fast on your phone without sending all your personal data to the cloud. It is a total win-win.
But what does this mean for Apple's own foundational research? It kind of implies they just could not catch up to Google or OpenAI from scratch, right?
Yeah, maybe. But honestly, as an iPhone user, I do not care how the sausage is made. If Siri actually becomes useful for once, I am all for it, you know?
Fair point. Siri has definitely been lagging behind. If this distillation process works, it could completely revitalize the Apple ecosystem, though the licensing fees must be astronomical.
And think about the battery life. If you are not constantly pinging a server in California every time you ask Siri to set a timer, your phone runs so much cooler.
That is a very practical point. Local processing is the holy grail for mobile AI. It reduces server costs for Apple and improves the user experience dramatically.
Oh, for sure. It just shows how valuable these frontier models really are. But speaking of Google, they just dropped something else massive today.
Right, you were talking about the new Gemini release. I saw the headline on MarkTech Post this morning. What are the details on that one?
Yes! Dude, Google just released Gemini 3.1 Flash Live. They put it in preview for developers through Google AI Studio, and it is built specifically for real-time multimodal voice interactions.
Okay, so when they say multimodal, they mean it processes audio and video natively, right? It is not just converting speech to text and back again.
Exactly. No awkward lag. It is just listening, seeing, and talking back instantly. Google is literally calling it their highest quality audio and speech model to date.
I am always a bit skeptical of highest quality claims until I actually test it. But the low latency aspect is absolutely crucial for building functional AI agents.
Totally. And get this, the MarkTech Post article specifically highlighted its tool use capabilities. So this agent can talk to you while simultaneously triggering actions in other apps.
Now that is where it gets interesting. If developers can plug this into customer service or live translation, the native audio processing changes the whole user experience.
Dude, they even said it handles low latency video, so you could point your camera at a broken engine, and the AI agent talks you through fixing it in real time.
If the latency is truly as low as they claim, that unlocks entirely new hardware possibilities. Smart glasses, for instance, become infinitely more useful with native multimodal processing.
It is like having a super smart friend looking over your shoulder who can also book your flights while you're talking. The API is live now, dude.
We are definitely going to see some wild demos on Twitter by next week. The speed of iteration in the voice space right now is just staggering.
It really is. And honestly, Google needed this win, but they are not the only ones making huge moves in the audio space today. Have you seen what Mistral did?
I did. Mistral just entered the voice chat in a very big way. Let us talk about their new model, Voxtral.
Oh man, yes! French startup Mistral just released Voxtral TTS. It is their first text-to-speech model. And dude, the best part is that it is totally open weight.
Open weight is huge here, and according to the decoder, it supports 9 different languages right out of the box. But the cloning feature is what really caught my eye.
Right? It can clone a voice from just 3 seconds of audio. 3 seconds! That is like barely a full sentence, and it has your voice locked in.
Wait, really? Just 3 seconds? That is technically impressive, but honestly, it sounds like a massive security and deepfake nightmare waiting to happen.
I mean, yeah, the malicious potential is pretty scary, but for creators and indie developers, having a local, open weight model that good is just incredible for building new tools.
I suppose, but what does this mean for voice actors? If anyone can clone a voice locally with 3 seconds of tape, the traditional guardrails are basically gone.
Plus, since it is open weight, developers can fine-tune it. You could train it on your own voice completely offline, so your data never touches a corporate server.
That offline capability is the silver lining here. Privacy-focused users will love it, but the ethical debate around open sourcing voice cloning technology is only going to get louder from here.
That is the wild west of open source, dude. You cannot put the genie back in the bottle. But Mistral is really pushing the boundaries of what local models can do.
It is true the European AI scene is really holding its own against Silicon Valley. It will be very interesting to see how the community builds safeguards around this.
Definitely. We need those safeguards fast. Okay, for our last story, we have to talk about OpenAI. And honestly, I cannot stop laughing about this one.
Ah, yes, the TechCrunch article. Let us get into OpenAI's latest abandoned project. This one is genuinely confusing.
Dude, what were they even thinking? OpenAI officially abandoned yet another side quest. They were apparently developing a not-safe-for-work erotic mode for ChatGPT, and now they just ditched it.
Well, TechCrunch noted they have been ditching several side projects over the past week. It sounds like they're desperately trying to refocus on their core enterprise products.
I guess, but imagine the boardroom meetings. Hey guys, should we make the AI flirty? And then a week later, never mind, bad idea, let us cancel the romance.
It really highlights a lack of focus at the company, doesn't it? Why dedicate expensive engineering resources to an erotic mode when you're fighting off Google and Apple?
Right? I mean, I get experimenting, but imagine the PR nightmare if ChatGPT started acting inappropriate with enterprise clients because of some crossed wires in the erotic mode.
Exactly. The brand risk is just too high. OpenAI has spent years convincing Fortune 500 companies that their models are safe and reliable. This side quest directly contradicted that mission.
Especially with Apple using Gemini now, OpenAI needs to stay sharp. Though, to be fair, I bet there is a massive consumer market for AI romance bots.
Oh, there absolutely is. Companies like Character AI are making a fortune on it. But for an organization positioning itself as building AGI for humanity, it is a weird look.
Totally a weird look, dude. Honestly, it is probably for the best they dropped it. Keep ChatGPT professional, you know? Leave the virtual boyfriends to the other startups.
Agreed. It is a smart pivot back to reality. They need to focus on reasoning, focus on autonomous agents, and leave the weird, distracting side quest behind them.
Could not agree more. Let them focus on GPT-5 instead of making the AI hit on us. That is a win for everyone.
Indeed. Well, I think that covers the biggest shifts for the week. From Apple's secret distillation to 3-second voice clones, the pace of AI development is just relentless.
It never stops, dude. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss our next breakdown. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will be back on Monday.